improvement. Okay, we're already on game number 6. We've only got 2 spots going to the global championship up for grabs. Duos in here who already have spots are fighting for prize money. Other duos are fighting for those 2 spots. Evan and Xana get a 12 victory game 12 elimination. There it is. Good job there. Victory Royale in game number 5 at 143 points. Is that enough to compete with one of those top 2 spots? We'll take a look in a moment. First, we got to bring up the overall leaderboard. We'll take a look at the specific one for qualification in just a second. We just want to kind of set the stage for everything else that we're seeing. Peterbot Poyo still in the number 1 spot as Agers and Venno are slowly creeping up, trying to fight them. It's really interesting, guys. Venno and Agers actually landed on Peterbot in that last game and decided we're going to go ahead and eliminate y'all pretty much off spawn. They fell 46th place with nothing. I can't lie, guys. This is a storyline that kind of like is super hype. Peterbot Poyo versus Agers and Venno. I'm kind of into it.
I mean, it's also, I went back and watched that fight happen. And it wasn't necessarily that they eliminated Peterbot and Poyo. It was that after Venno and AJ did it, they did it like really nonchalantly. They weren't super hype about it at all. And then one of them said, all right, now we got to go win. Like they did it again, just really just lackadaisically. And I was very shocked by it. And it definitely had what the kids say, aura. So for me, that was even more impressive than eliminating Peterbot and Poyo, was to do it just so nonchalantly. So yeah, the storylines are definitely building up. And we can expect, Vivid, maybe some repercussions for the actions that were taken in that game.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty crazy. Obviously, there's stuff going on among some of our qualified teams, but our non-qualified teams, also some crazy happenings going down in the early game as well. And we're going to see the impact of that on the standings. Remember, this is a leaderboard with a non-qualified team. So we saw HCube and Encrypted go down early, as did Chris and Aloe, and kind of went ahead and opened up the opportunity for teams like Hobby and Diminish to kind of close that gap. You can see, we were kind of talking about how big of a lead that they have kind of established. Well, now it is down to just 22 points. And Hobby and Diminish, they took full advantage of that. They didn't have the best game ever, but they got enough points to kind of get themselves closer. This was a 15th place with a single elimination. So Hobby and Diminish, you know, listen, the cards are on the table for you guys now. You can kind of go into game number 6 with a great opportunity to potentially qualify for Global Championship.
It also seems like a lot of our teams that have already qualified are starting to climb up into the top 10. So that is also going to kind of shake up the leaderboard just a little bit. Obviously, these standings is just the non-qualified teams, so we don't really get that picture just yet. But I do think that this game is going to be completely unpredictable, just how close it is between from, you know, 3rd to kind of 7th place, even below then. If any of them have a really good game, that is really all they're going to need. One of those teams obviously being Yuz and Sharkman, and they had a pretty good game in that last game, going up 3 placement points. They got a 5th place with just 2 eliminations. It seems to be that they are playing it very safe. That was what we saw at the start of the game, or the start of the day. When they got their 3rd place, they only got 2 eliminations. In fact, the most eliminations that they've even got is just 2 eliminations. So they're going for the placement, they're going for the passive, and it seems to be working out for them if they were looking for a top 10, but Vivid, they're not looking for a top 10. They're looking for like a top 4, top 5 right now.
Yeah, they definitely need to start picking up some more eliminations, though. I mean, it's pretty much going to be the difference maker, potentially, when everything is all said and done. I mean, taking a look at this leaderboard as well, we see G-Monster and Void. I mean, they had an incredible game there. 10 plus eliminations for them kind of sends them up 12 spots as well. And Madden and Chance as well, up 5 placements now, 174. It doesn't really feel like anybody on this specific leaderboard is going to be close. I mean, obviously, HQ and Cryptid and Chris and Aloe sitting in those current qualification spots are going to be feeling comfortable. But with teams like Madden and Chance clutching up, teams like G-Money and Void clutching up, really anything is possible.
Yeah, man, we've got 1 game left. And the nerves, I mean, I'm getting nervous already. But just think about the context of that last game, right? All of our top teams fall early. Kelly, Viv, we could have a situation, if that happens again, this is the last game. There will be no more opportunities. There won't be any 3rd chances or anything like that. If something goes wrong in this last game and those players fall early and they can't get points, that's it. They will not be qualified, and then they have to watch everyone else behind them slowly climb up that leaderboard. And if they get more points, that's it. The run's done. They have a better chance to qualify than you do. Kelly, that's a crazy stressful situation to be in.
Listen, we've already experienced heartbreak earlier on in EU of just how close some of our bigger teams can come out of just missing qualification to the global championships. And we know that, you know, for all for every winner we're going to have a bunch of losers. So unfortunately, not everyone can make it to the global championships. So obviously there is going to be a bit of heartbreak right there. But right now, these teams need to focus. They need to just play Fortnite. They don't need to think about what that's going to mean for them. But obviously, a lot is on the line with it.
Game number 6. NA, it always comes down to the last and final game. A bunch of teams very, very close for those global championship spots. And then we are fighting for $30,000 at the top of the leaderboard. Peterbot and Pollo versus Agers and Veto. What is going to be the approach here in game number 6 from those two teams? Can't wait to see.
Oh man, we got to see if Veto and Agers decide once again it's time to line up Peter Pollo or not. But this is it. One final game. Let the cards fall where they may. Players, it's time to take fate into your own hands. One last game. Only 2 spots are on the line. Here we go. Game 6 starts now.
This is it, the last game of the day, the last chance global qualifier. I couldn't have asked for a better kind of ending going into this final game with how close the leaderboard actually is.
Yeah, we have a lot to fight for now, a fight for first place in the cash, and then of course your qualification spots, which somehow has gotten surprisingly close coming into this final game here, Jacob.
Yeah, and so far throughout the day, you know, the first early games, it was kind of slow. Not a lot of aggressive action going down, but that last game showed us everything. Nobody is safe. If your global's qualified, you're still fighting for that first place spot, or if you want to keep your year alive. It starts, it ends here, because game 6 is ready, so let's get into it.
Last chance finals, game number 6 is here, and of course we have our eyes on the Sinister drop. We want to know if Venom and Agers are gonna go for it, and it looks like they want to, Jacob.
This is something we've been leading up to Major 2. We didn't get to see it, but now we have been gifted the chance. Pollo, probably known as one of the best off-spawn players in the game, and they get that first elimination on the Veto. Essentially a battle for first place, and now Agers is stuck by himself until he eventually goes down. Peterbot and Pollo will reign supreme.
They do it again, and you know what? We knew that when Peterbot and Pollo were expecting to play, things would go a little bit differently. I mean, they are just that good. And now they will solidify themselves, undoubtedly, as the team to take the tournament away today with the most amount of points here.
I wouldn't call it too early, though. Still have hope the way some of these teams have been playing. HQ encrypted. Who knows? Peterbot and Pollo going down. That's the only points they get. We have a miracle run. They not only qualified for the global championship, can possibly win the entire thing. But this drop here, called the 0-point split, just east of the actual 0-point rift. OSID and Vert looking like they have a little bit more control over this game. A full loadout. What they really lack here is the shields, but everybody here at this drop does.
Definitely is a really scrappy fight. One involved here at the moment. Shot from Bolts and Kaki right here to have the first elimination on a team that's trying to get the finish up here. Just like that, they find themselves with 3 elims.
This is a team that we kind of saw to start the day. They were kind of close to that bubble, but being contested. You all kind of know how that song and dance goes. You almost have to be perfect when it's top 2 that does qualify. His threats and visuals seem to get a little bit more active here, just outside of their POI towards the south. They see Rapid by himself. He's going to go down to Evan and Zonda, last game's winner, but now all the aggression is coming out from visuals and threats. They need these elims, they need the points, and they're going to get that first down onto Zonda.
It's actually huge for them right here. Again, the comeback story now for threats and visuals here. A team that somehow has 2 victories on the evening and still is in a race to try to close the gap, close the distance between them and Chris and Aloe, now their next most immediate team holding the qualification spot at the moment. It might not feel like much, but 30 points is a good lead to have coming into this last game here.
Yeah, outside of elimination, let's make it all the way to the top 10. She's shown today so far that it's never going to be that easy. But G-Money, Void, 170, giving themselves a fighting chance. 10th place on the overall leaderboard, actually tied with Reet and Cooper, but they win the tiebreaker due to average eliminations, going to show that they're well on track. They just need to push themselves a little bit further and can't run out of gas here in Game 6. As Khaki Bolts continuing their aggression, they take down Pure, leaving Wheeze by himself, so another 2v1 winnable scenario.
It's kind of crazy. Khaki and Bolts are literally finding their stride in the last game. Then, but either way, this is going to be really good for the rest of the lobby, right? Like this, placement points and things are going to start thinning out. And if, again, if you're Chris and Aloe, etc., you're going to be happy that other teams are not exactly soaking up all these eliminations.
Now, finally, I'm about to say nobody's really here, but just on the outskirts. Kind of do see HQ and Encrypted early to kind of rotate towards this center, or at least from now, just outside Madden and Chance there as well. And kind of seeing like a priority to rotate from some of the teams this game than what we've seen so far. Curly and Sphinx land just north, but they're getting pushed off further and further, which could be a blessing because you see they already have the Chug Jugs. The only thing they're really lacking now is just a little bit more materials.
Yeah, gonna need a little bit more to work this mid-game. Game situations that are to come. Sphinx and Curly though, 160. Again, still not quite out of it. We're gonna need that Chris and Aloe update here soon because we have Craze and Kingling back on the hunt, going team to team, hitting these important draw spots, these named POIs. Once again, they're on a mission right now. They're at 3 elims and we just started this.
And luckily enough, though, you guys seeing they're pushing up towards the north. Seeing how the fight started, Craze just almost little to no care in the world, just bulldozes into the box, gets both of those eliminations. And I would say HQ Encrypted, we saw kind of make it a priority to rotate out earlier on. That's how they got caught out in that last game. So everybody learning from little mistakes here, learning from the aggression of the lobby to try to give themselves a good Game 6 to close out the day. Uh-oh.
Oh no, Chris though finds Dash with the clutch elimination, and look at his inventory. He's got such a strong loadout to work with. Do you abandon the ship or stick around and fight? Noxie's also extremely healthy here too. Much more on the line here for Chris. His teammate's still down. He's got to make the right move here. He's got to hit the right shots. Nice job boxing up Aloe there, while Noxie makes a big mistake here. Takes a little too much time to heal. That floor though is Noxie's. Nice little side angle here for Chris to go ahead and branch his way out. Don't want to be standing on your enemy floors there.
Chris doing a good job of keeping Aloe alive,
no.
not at all, but he gets coned off. 2 HP. Noxie has turned this one around. He has to be able, like you said, to go. You have to take advantage of the 2 HP, especially since Lepsy and Wagers, another team is lurking in.
I think he fell. Oh no, he didn't fall. Okay, the body fell. Aloe fell off. Okay, Noxie recognizes there might be some danger nearby. He ends up dipping out. You know what? Slepsy and Wagers, by the way, this is the right move for them to try to push Chris if they want to, of course, disrupt things. So they're lurking around. They know what's going on here. But it'd be hard to understand if there was a solo left, you know? With the limited information, seeing one player disengage, you might think this is the only guy surviving here.
Potential 4 more points. They could just get this elimination or even knock onto Dash. So far, good amount of damage. Dash is going to land 2 feet down onto the ground, but Wagers, Slepsy are coming to interrupt this fight. They need a certain number of eliminations, Monster. They need a victory royale. For Slepsy and Wagers, it is literally the definition of all or nothing, because if they don't get that victory royale with elims, their FNCS ends here, but they're able to find the open opportunity, getting the knock onto Dash. Noxie's stuck by himself with no shield, and every second he stays in the zone, that is less HP he has to work with.
The real problem is they let Chris and Aloe basically escape at this point. So even if you're Noxie Dash, even if you're Slepsy and Wagers, your competition got away. Slepsy, Wagers, Gotta speed this one up. Noxie just waiting this out. He really is desperate. You know, he's just kind of sitting here, even with all these extra heals. I'm not sure how to feel too much about this. I mean, they know you're here.
Yeah, Slepsy's Wager doing a good job, though, of being very, very calculated. Kind of not even necessarily breaking through all of the builds, just damaging them enough to see through. And with Noxie, though, 25 seconds. He is on a clock here to have to make a move. He has 20 left on the Chug Jug, but that's not a lot of time being granted. You almost need to disengage, get to that vending machine, or find a way to get the elimination for the Siphon.
Gonna start healing here. Wagers and Slepsy. Patience grows thin. They back off a little bit. Another team is now looking down. And hey, you know what? I was wrong. Noxie makes the right move and just waiting it out, I guess, because now he's got a little bit of firepower potentially coming in from the distance. Meanwhile, Madden and Chance had an opportunity to clutch up. Madden takes down Peterbot to stay in the race for a qualification spot. It doesn't get any bigger or better than that for Madden and Chance there.
Yeah, just unfortunate. They get the knock. But I'm not sure what Pollo did to make sure he didn't get taken out, but Peterbot does stay alive. He crawls into the reboot van, and they do get the reboot back up. Nobody's pushing on over just yet to try to clean up this elimination. And honestly, when it's Peterbot and Pollo, I wouldn't necessarily push on over either.
Yeah, definitely the better play for Peterbot to pick himself up as opposed to expose himself elsewhere, but talk about an important fight for Chance and Madden. If that ends up being the deciding factor as to why they qual, I'll be pretty excited story for them. Aminish Javi on the other side. Slow and steady. Might just be able to win the race. 184, doing what they got to do these last couple of games. Exactly the way they needed to. A little 3-2-1 in the bush there just to check what was going on.
Yeah, did a good job of focusing on the rotation in towards the zone. They're not necessarily elevated the highest, but they do have this mountain edge to kind of go and base up on. Not necessarily using a ton of materials, but I was thinking in my head, where is Chris at? We know he's a solo, hasn't gotten the reboot back on up just yet. And so Slepsy and Wagers, they're running away from this situation, but I'm not sure how, if they know how close they actually are to Chris. Uh-oh.
No way. Oh no, he almost got away with it.
Fucking.
He was hidden so well. I wouldn't even thought they would have checked down there.
Huh?
That was such a good hiding spot. Yeah, there's nothing Chris could do here. This is such a tough spot to be in. No more shot here. He's gonna have to fight this one out to the end.
Oh, she didn't wake up
He's
until
moving
you
though.
were
My gosh.
basically like,
210 is where he gets frozen at. Wagers and Slepsy have a
yeah,
chance.
like,
And Tories even say that because they have to win and continue to get elites, but technically they actually have a chance. But so does everyone else now. This
oh my,
is the
I'm so
opportunity.
retarded. I'm sorry,
Every other team
baby.
that's looking to
I
qualify.
bought my.
Yep, as we see HQ encrypted. I'm not sure if they're watching the feed or not, but with Chris and Aldo down, everybody below them on that
Yes,
leaderboard, this is something to aim for. Exactly, and the next best team, obviously, this is starting at the
She
game.
already
They see their
had a bottle, and I gave her,
228
and she
points. The next
finished
highest
it on
team
top of
was
that.
Javi and Aminish at 184 points, so roughly a 44-point lead.
Also, but yeah, I'm playing the Fortnite tournament.
Push them out of the global championship
Just like-
qualification spot. So they just need to have just one of the casual performances they've had on the day so far, and they're good.
Yep, now you have all these teams who, I mean, quite literally, I think it's going to come down to which one of these teams effectively win the game. Boy, G-Monster, if they do it,
Fuck.
it's going to push them over the edge.
I don't know why I did this to myself.
They're going to need those extra points to really separate themselves because of how close it's been, especially since, you know, it's really interesting. All these teams that are kind of on the bubble for the qualification, they're not the ones picking up a ton of eliminations, right? It's the ones that are extremely desperate to try to close the gap here. And that's why we still have almost the same exact points where we left off on with everyone else in the game. Visuals, threats on the other side have already effectively picked them too, which is not too bad. Cap material. Another Western pool. We've already seen them win a game from here, so they know how to do it.
just a matter of they can make it through the mid game, because that's when a lot of their struggles are happening. The next best team, Hobby and Aminish, they go down. Peterbot, Boyo are the reason for them to go down. So another team's FNCS year has come to an end. And then now I gotta look at the next best team, Yuz in Sharkman, who started at 176.
There's no way, right? There's no way. Boyo does end up falling here. Peterbot's left by himself. We've already seen Boyo do some miraculous things as a solo, obviously going on those crazy elimination pairs. Peterbot by himself, vibes are up. They already have the tournament in the bag. I mean, he might just continue to do crazy things here himself. But again, talk about the biggest upset for Javi and Diminish there. Dream's getting crushed here. Sphinx and Curly actually have a chance now to overtake some of these teams here. That and Chance is going to be one of those dangers that are standing between them and, of course, the position at the LAN event.
So it could still definitely end up being very close, depending on if our already qualified teams start getting eliminations here, siphoning points away. But for Curly and Sphinx, they're just looking to get into the zone for now. As soon as they find it safe, comfortable, or at least as comfortable as can be, you can see them kind of lurking around. Seeing a scuffle going down, immediately landing shots onto Curve, onto Higgs as well. Just trying to alleviate the stresses of the eventuality of Storm Surge.
Not gonna lie, I want to see what Slepsy and Wager's looking like. Because if they somehow continue to find an that would just be the craziest story. But threats and visuals, 2 elims above the threshold, plenty of material. This is looking like the dream run for them. Meanwhile, Peterbot on the other side is way below the threshold himself. He's got a lot of damage to catch up with. But he's got nothing to lose. This is another win in the bag for him right here. 325 below though. What are you gonna do, Peterbot? Who are you gonna target next? Oh, little revenge onto Cold. Okay, I like that one.
Feeling confident. You see him kind of lurking on over, but he just can't get tunnel visioned on one team. 350 is a lot to overcome, especially since you're still taking a little bit of damage, running out of builds, tries to break into that first box. There's a whole nother duo on the other side, and that's just going to be a little bit more for Peterbot to handle as a solo. He's going to go down, even with first place already secured. It's a big team out of the lobby, and a team that can no longer siphon away points.
Definitely, as you say that too, Batman, Booga falls there as well. These are teams that are sitting up at the top of the standings, falling right now. And quite honestly, I can't tell if that's going to be beneficial for anyone trying to hold their qualification spot or not, but I don't think so. Yeah, teams like Sphinx and Curly just now starting to earn their placement points.
Yeah, better chances for those points to go to the teams that actually need it, instead of first place or any of our other global qualified teams. But you're seeing everybody making a priority, rotating forward towards the zone. Does have a western lean, so for Boog and Braze, they might be one of the last ones to start their rotation, but most of their way there is going to be relatively clean. A little bit of a mess up for Braze on that shockwave. Forced to expend another one, but this is where they alleviate themselves, and this is almost a make or break rotation if they go through the cone.
Crazy to think that Booga and Braids are at 160 right now with 5 eliminations. How many more can they go for? Another 10 and they'll close the gap. Cryptid HQ, the team that has that comfortable lead, now starting to soak up those well-earned placement points. This is good for them here. Notice they're not doing anything risky, Jake.
Yeah, I think they know. There's going to come a point in time in this exact game where it's going to become mathematically impossible for them to lose out on one of those 2 spots. They just need to maintain their composure, stay 190 or so above the damage threshold. Luckily for them and everybody else, 4 players need to go down. Storm Surge will no longer be a worry, but we got a battle for high. King Craze, Cold, and Ritual. Cold, Ritual do seem to get that first elimination onto King, leaving Craze all by himself. Again, that's a team that is ahead on the points on the leaderboard that they've just taken out of the lobby.
Yep, definitely just crashing out for high ground, because why not? It's the last game. They're looking to end it with a bang. Meanwhile, visual and threats slowly, surely inching their way up towards Chris Allow's position. Sharkman and Yuz are doing the same as well. They find Ace first there. Couple solos remaining in this game. Do keep in mind, that's why there's still 24 teams alive on the board there. Sphinx currently find themselves very much hurt on the outskirts of the map there.
I just kind of had my eyes locked on Liam and Fear. One of them's down, stuck to solos. Madden and Chance, not necessarily going for elevation, just trying to stay down below, putting a target on an H-Cube encrypted. Even though they have so much more of a cushion, that'll be the last thing a team like this would want, to fall and let the nerves kind of eat you alive. 240 though, the cushion just continues to get built. Top 20 situation, a good chunk of the placement points so far, and you can see players just dropping like flies.
Yeah, it's nothing to worry about at this point. I mean, you really want to start looking at everyone else who's getting very, very close to that number here. Yuz, Sharkman still alive. Chance there in the mix. H-Cube and Encrypted just kind of cruising by. Take a look at Sharkman's situation here. A single Elan that they just got onto Ace, but they have a little bit more maps to go the distance here. Target now putting on their back here from the rest of the lobby here. 196, just a couple more teams falling will give them the position over Chris and Aloe, and then it's a fight to hold it.
I think it was around 210 or so points. Madden Chance right there. You can see they picked up 208, but that just goes to show how close it is. Multiple teams on the verge of breaking that threshold that Chris and Aloe dropped before they went down. Visual, the threat, similar spot. 200 points. We have so many teams over 200 points at this point in time.
Already 3 duos at least, but Madden falls at 208. More placement points going the other way. Chris and Aloe technically are still holding the line. Couple more duos in between them. Visuals watching what's going on here. H-Cube solo by himself. He's already secured. He's got it. Big elimination there on Vertify there. Nice stop in. Meanwhile, Yuz Sharkman 210 now. It's their spot to fight for.
Literally,
Watching
placement separates going to the global championship after their season ended, and they try to extend it further. Another elimination, the second one, and when they need it most. Could you see their material count? They have relatively little to nothing. Same way Chargers, but on high ground, Slepsy and Wagers. We've been gifted such a great end to this tournament.
This is crazy. They came into this with such a huge gap between them and everyone else, but we said it. If they can jump over 10 eliminations and somehow win the game by some miracle, they might qualify, especially since they are the reason Chris and Aloe fell in the first place. And look at that.
We got my mom.
This competition just gotta take it
Whoa.
out. 2 of them
My
in
mom.
back. And
Look.
Jacob, the
Who won
runway
now?
might be open for them.
One cheese that.
218
my
I
God.
think is where it
Well,
stopped.
my mom.
191. This
One
is
big
essentially
one.
a win and you're in, and it's not just into
Well,
any
that was
tournament.
chat on.
It's to the
I had
global
chat on.
championship already with
Well,
7 eliminations, top 5. Another
Hey!
solo toward the back as Slepsy picks up that knock on the
Oh, my
Carillion.
God,
Leaving
look
Jarku by himself. They are
Oh,
locking it
God,
down right now.
cute.
199, they still need to do more. Cold still in the storm. They
Are you
gotta
a
get
girl
another
or a
knock to go
boy?
their way. They are literally
I
securing
you.
the points
Still
that they
talk
need.
to you.
203.
Oh.
They need 50 more
Wait,
points.
can I tell you a
Can they
joke?
find these Elans? They
I
cannot
did
go.
the
Six
same
teams here
across
now.
the road
His
with
teammates
the
there.
7.
Jarku steals one of them.
Shannon?
207. They need to find
No,
who's
because
the
it's 6-7
H-Cube.
with them
Solo
hitting.
lane as a solo
I
player.
died.
They've given up the high ground. They're out of maps
Oh, you
now.
died?
Jarku's
Wait, are you
alive.
in the game?
Comes to get it. H-Cube shooting.
Yeah,
They
are you in-
get that one as well. This is
Are
the
you
defining
in the
moment
game
here.
right now?
Yeah, gave me time.
But Sleepsy wins
I'm
in
a
the end,
new
and they
player in
get
this
the
game,
10
actually.
and the win there, Jacob.
7, how old are you?
28, maybe even plus.
She's gone.
Did we just witness a moment where Slepsies and Wagers needed eliminations? They needed
It's
a
all
win
out.
and they got
Winning
everything.
World Cup
Zeke.
lost 2019. Dang! 22 game. That's impossible. Oh my
She
god,
what?
this is a
We're getting final
I'm
numbers,
not
okay?
even
Just
gonna
making
this
sure.
trophy.
Everything looks good and looks clean.
That is you, Fortnite.
Refreshing these leaderboards as soon as we are ready to let you know
Talk
who
to
we are
me.
to confirm and make sure everything
What?
is good. Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh,
in this last
Fortnite.
game, and this is why you just can
What?
never give up, man. You
Can I
have
find you
to,
on
like,
Fortnite?
if you're a player out there,
Yeah.
this is just such a perfect
Yeah,
example.
sure.
You know, fight until
What's
the
your
very
name?
end, until that last game.
Nick
We
is
look here.
on.
I'm so sorry, my eyes were closed. I was
Nick
so
John?
in shock, but it is in
What?
fact true. Off of a
Nick
single
John?
game, Slepsy wagers
What?
in game
I said,
6
is it Nick
by a
John?
massive victory royale, and it is enough, Kelly.
Yeah.
Listen, we knew that it was possible from
Did
this
you get,
duo.
like, a
We saw
friend
in
request?
game number 2,
Huh?
they walked away with a victory royale, but they did it with one elimination, and then they got 40th place after that. I thought they were done and over with. We all wrote them off. We had different storylines
Nick is
going on,
on.
and none of it had to do with Slepsy and Wagers. Well, now they are the main characters in this story to be able to take the final game, to take the win, and to get just the amount of eliminations they need, Vivid. That is a story
Hey,
worth telling.
Come back
There's so many times
here.
in Fortnite where we talk about those last game moments. and we're like,
Monster,
yeah, I
talk
mean,
me.
Math can math out, like you can clutch up, but it's not really likely, right? Slepsy and
Can you
Wavers,
hear
they
me?
finally bring it to fruition here. I mean, they were on 123 points before that game. I mean, yeah, they effectively played 2 games today, both of them being wins, and it was enough to carry them into that qualification spot into the global.
I
Championship.
died.
What an incredible way for Slepsy and Wagers to make their way to a land.
There was
Hmm?
literally no other way for them to get in. That, like, they had to win that game to continue the dream. I cannot believe it. In the final moments
Jimmy.
of that, they won it all. They pushed out Yuz and Sharkman, Visual and Threats. Oh my gosh. Also, you know, obviously that was an insane run. I did want to really quickly just double back as well to HQ and Encrypted, kind of give them their flowers as well. Phenomenal showing on the day. 304 points from the duo. Kelly, I'm looking at only one game, only one quote-unquote bad game, we'd call it, right? A 38th place, but everything else was inside the top 10. They were looking fantastic. I'd love to take a look at the overall leaderboard to kind of get a full picture. So remember, that leaderboard we just showed you as players who needed to qualify. But this is a look at everything, right? So Peterbot, Poyo, yes, they did win, but again, Kelly, just such a big moment for HQ and Encrypted, also securing themselves a spot.
Sorry, I
It
muted
is
for a
a
little
huge
bit.
moment, especially it wasn't like they were able to secure themselves a spot. They got second place. HQ was doing incredibly well as a solo in those final moments. I think they were already kind of confirmed once we did reach the middle part of that game, but for him to do that and get second place, just great showings for our 2 teams that have qualified themselves into the global championships. Big shout out, of course, to HQ and Slepsy and Wagers and Encrypted. But listen, I know we're not talking about the teams that already qualified, but Peterbot and Poyo versus Agers and Venno. What another storyline that just had such a satisfying ending, Vivid.
Yeah, this is gonna be one of those moments where people are like, yeah, listen, we know Aegis and Venom were kind of coming for our throats here on this one. They were trying to, you know, take us out in the early game in back-to-back games. But this is something
Did
that
he die? And what did
from
he
his
look
own
like?
be like, listen, I've done this before
did
myself.
he
I
look
know
like?
that Aegis and Venom were just playing for the win here. So I think Peterbot and Poyo are definitely gonna go ahead and respect the attempt there. But unfortunately, Peterbot and Poyo are very, very good
Wait,
on
what did he
spawn.
look like?
Kind of faltered in
I
game
look
number 5, but it looked like game
if
number
you
6
see
they
it
were
go with
fully
braids,
prepared
that's
for it.
me.
And I myself actually would have guessed that Aegis and Venom wouldn't have done it
Mhm.
in game number 6 to actually land there again. But listen, Aegis and Venom, they have the confidence. They know
Someone's
exactly how to
doing
win
a
this one. They
day
went for it. Unfortunately for them, because they went down early in that game, they did drop down to 3rd place. But I think they were willing to take that risk.
So interesting, right? It's such an interesting play, especially like, you know, we talked about this
when
not that long ago
finish,
on
that's so
FNCS, but Benno making a similar play, right? And it takes us all the way back to Invitational. They land on Canyon setting. It just didn't go Benno's way. There must be like some kind of feelings like, dude, what the heck is going on? Of course, we respect the play, and thank you guys for entertaining us. What else do we have to look at here? Because it's just been, I'm still just so shocked
Wait,
at
can I
the
tell
play
you?
Slepsy and Wagers.
Can you tell
Oh,
me
that's
what
true.
I
Like
look
qualified
like?
players. Okay, so check this out. Here
If
is all of our
someone's
players.
hitting,
Thank you, Kelly.
if
You're so
someone's
incredible.
hitting you with a,
Here's all of our
if
players
you see someone
representing
with a piano
NAC
glove,
Global
hit thing, that's
Championship. Obviously,
that's
Kelly, all of
me.
these players have fought tooth and nail. They
So
fought
that's
across all of the majors, and
If
of
you
course,
see
DC
someone
Last
with
Chance.
a hit thing, that's me.
Kelly, I can't lie. We're going up against some other pretty good regions.
Listen, there is so many big names that are going to be showing up to the global championships, and maybe North America didn't win the Summit Land, and maybe we didn't win the global championship. But anyone's going to walk away in first place. It might be a North American team. I don't know. Who knows? There's so many good teams, Vivid, and we finally have so many teams. I know that there's still some other regions that are competing, so we don't have all of the teams just yet. But my goodness, are there just some really big hitters? This is going to be one of the most insane global championships that we are ever going to witness.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, going into global championships, Peterbot and Player, right? Those first 4 games of today, I guarantee you, when we are there at global championships, we're going to be talking about, hey, Peterbot Player, we're kind of looking good in that last chance finals, right? Like, are they back? Of course, they got 7th in the major finals. So just a single competition here today just kind of lead us into so many conversations for the global championships. Then, of course, we got the Reloaded Elite Series culminating next week as well. So much is going on leading into global championships. I can't believe we almost have all of our duos that we will be seeing there.
Dude, it's so crazy. It's been such a journey. One point of clarification there. Obviously, one of the teams representing NA is Agers and Benno. So if Benno wins, that's still an NA win, right? Okay. I'm glad we're all aligned. It would still be an NA win. With that being said, though, friends, thank you guys so much. This is always so much fun to come on here, talk about Fortnite, lose our minds, freak out about all the players and the plays that we're seeing. Congratulations to all of the qualified players, and not only just NAC, but every other region. Globals is going to be crazy, so we have a lot of preparation to do before then. Fortnite fam, as always, we love you. Keep yourself safe, and we'll see you on that battle bus.
Beep, beep.
Beep.
I guess I'm the only one who's seen this thing. Dang! Ah! Hey, do you know this place? Can you get this gun looks so cool? I wish this one. There's a lot of Oh, it smokes. Mama! Look! Look! Mama, is that what you need? Hello? Can I tell you? Hello, what do you look like? Are you the Spider-Man boy? Whatever, let's tell this chat. My name? My name?
One die. One